Hey everyone, Boylon here, and today we're going to be doing a Red Star Orb Pull video on Beast, since it came out in the character offers today. Although I do want to preface this with that I'm not going to be doing an offer or pull on him today, but I will give a quick review of what I think about him as a character and how he fits into the team after we pull our Red Star Orbs. Personally, I kind of think he's a bit of a meh character, especially if you're in the late game of your roster, but hopefully you'll all stick with me past the Red Star Orb pulls for me to give my official verdict. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, here we are over into the orb section of the store. I only have like 26 Red Star Orbs. I thought I had a little bit more than this, though. We do have some Elite 4 credits, I think, so we probably will end up using maybe 1 or 2 Elite 4s. And I don't want to use too many of my Red Star Orbs because I want to save for Emma Frost. I do think that Beast is kind of a meh character for late game players and veteran players. I don't think he's a very necessary character, although I think he might have some value for earlier to mid game players who can utilize him a bit better. For someone like me, I have a lot of 7-star, most of my X-Men are 7-star at this point, besides Colossus, who soon will be 7-star. And I'm not really sure I want to fit him in or really gear him up too much to actually... I don't know if he's going to end up replacing anyone at this point. But we're here for the Red Star Orb, so we're going to get into that, and we're going to start with... I guess we could probably start with the Elite Four. I want to preface this also that I did do some orb pulling beforehand with the Milestone Orbs, and I'm not a firm believer in seed theory, but I did end up pulling a gold pull on the side, and so that's why we're jumping into the Red Stars now. I didn't bother putting that in the video because, it's not worth showing. And, whether you hate it or you like it, I'm not sure. So we'll find out if we get anything good out of this. So we're going to start with the Elite Four first, and then jump back into the regular Red Star Orbs, just in the event that we do pull something good out of this Elite Four, and then I don't have to pull anymore. But let's get started here and see how we do. We do have a bunch of Elite 5 tokens, but I'm still saving on that because I'm going to be probably pulling that for Doc Ock, or, assuming he is the legendary that's coming. So... anyways, let's let one rotation go back around, and then we'll pull this. So, get a 4 Psylocke. I think that's a dupe. That's not surprising there. So that was an extra 1,000 credits there, going into the Elite 5 pool there. So let's go back into our regular Red Star Orbs. We weren't too lucky on that one. We might be able to pull out one more Elite 4 if we're lucky. Oh! Oh my god! Ooh! Wow, guys. I did it again. This is just on the back of my Squirrel Girl pull. And... whew. It's actually not what we were looking for, but it is a really good pull nonetheless. And this is... well, actually I don't even use her in Arena anymore, but, it's still a good pull, and that's going to help me in Alliance War and, I don't know, wherever else I use her these days. I'm kind of past the global section of... of Dark Dimension 3. But hey, you know what? I can't say no to a gold pull, can I? So we're gonna continue on anyways. That's still good. We might actually end up getting another Elite 4 orb because of that dupe there, or that extra dupe credits. Oh, I don't know. There's a 1-star. Do you see theory real? I don't know, but that sure felt good. Let's continue on. We got a pink. What is this? What? Guys, what's going on here? What is going on? So look at all those credits, and we're basically at an Elite 4 already. That's bonkers. Like, what are the odds that 2 of the same character, a 5 and a 6 Red Star pull off of a regular orb, I'm not even going to go into the odds, but the odds of that on a single character, on the same character happening back to back, is something bonkers. That's for sure. Someone, I don't know, someone calculate it out and leave me the odds in the comments below, because that is just some cray stuff right there. So, one more, and then we're going to go back into the Elite 4. I don't think we'll end up getting another Elite 4 at this rate unless we get some bonkers pulls. I'm probably going to pull down to 10 Red Star Orbs if we don't get at least 3 on... if we get 3 on Beast, I'll probably stop there, but otherwise we'll keep going for a little bit. So, we're going back to the Elite 4 again. Let's see if we can get something good. It's pink. And we got a 4. Okay. So that's a 1 to a 4. I can call it there. I still don't think though that that's gonna convince me to buy the character. I just you know, he's gonna be back around. He's actually gonna be around next Thursday, so only really a week or so from now. And you know, I think I can hold off until then. I did a little bit of browsing on other people's videos about Beast. To be honest, given on how my X-Men are right now, I don't think I really need him, but I do think that he has, like I said, some value for some early game players, mid game players who are still sort of building up their X-Men roster. I think it would be a good idea to consider Beast, because then you can you don't have to consider as much some of the other characters, mainly Wolverine and Psylocke, you know, who are probably the most interchangeable in that team. And I think that if instead of leveling them up and gearing them up, you could probably just do Beast instead. You know, we can just go into my roster right now, and we'll actually, while we're here, let's do our upgrades. So this is pretty huge, especially because she's tier 14. Ooh, that power, guys, and those stats. That was pretty tasty there. That was pretty good. And so we're going to just scroll through my X-Men. So I'm gonna do a filter on my X-Men here, and just to show you guys where I'm at with my X-Men. So, you know, I have a pretty strong X-Men team ready. I'm actually using Cyclops mainly. I don't use Storm, so I use these 5 here minus Storm. You know, I think you can make an argument if you have a high Red Star Storm to use with Beast. I think when he becomes more farmable and we can get him up to 6 or 7 star, I think that might be another discussion altogether. But I think because he's a Blitz character, you're largely only going to get him to like 2 or 3 star, depending on how much you push for Blitz. And realistically, I don't see him replacing my 6 or 7 star characters. Now I know Cyclops isn't, you know, 6, 7 star, but I did build him up to tier 12, and you know, I have some oranges in him, and you know, I have Wolverine at tier 12 as well, but he's 5 red star, 7 star. So it might depend on where your red stars are sitting at. But even for Psylocke, I think she provides a lot of value for the team. You know, even with the evade, there's been tons of times where the evade and the counter that she applies to X-Men allies has really saved me when I'm fighting certain teams. And also because depending on when it lands, you know, it can then be given over to Colossus, and the Colossus can extend it with the ultimate. So I've had that happen before. So I actually think that Psylocke still has plenty of value on the team. You know, we're gonna have to talk a little bit more about Beast, I think, later down the road, but for just now, I do personally, I think that he's a bit of a pass, especially for late game players. I don't really think you need to build him. His passive is really interesting. The whole part of this, you know, if this character has 3 or more X-Men allies at the start of the battle, you know, you get one more medal than you would have normally. So the first ally count doesn't. First ally death, which typically is going to be Phoenix if you have her, doesn't count towards the loss of a medal. Unless I think they're future-proofing him. I think he might have some value later down the line. I don't know if they're going to be bringing out a mutant campaign or something where he might have served more value there. But I think generally where you use X-Men, which is typically Blitz or War Offense, things like that, I don't think he serves a purpose there. But you know, if you're still building up your roster for X-Men, then maybe you should consider him. So that's what I think personally. And you know, I just have all these X-Men built up. I don't need to do one more at this point. Maybe down the line when they perhaps release more X-Men. I think that is looking likely. I think that because there's 7, I think the likelihood of having 10 is even more likely, with potentially characters like Gambit, Rogue, and Iceman that are being hinted at to be released, that they might end up doing either two different 5-mans, or that they're intending on having, you know, different characters for different game modes, something like that, so that there's more flexibility in the team. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to take a pass on Beast. I won't be unlocking him via cores like I did with who did I do that with? Squirrel Girl? X23. I did it with. Sorry, I bought the offer for Squirrel Girl. I kind of forgot now. My memory's been jumping around. So yeah, I'm gonna be holding off on Beast, but I will be doing some stuff related to him, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about him. And so I just wanted to jump over quickly to our pals at MSF.gg so we can actually look at Beast's kit, particularly since I'm not going to be unlocking him right now. And so we can see all of his skills at the level 6 and level 7 levels. You know, you can't really see all of that in the game unless you actually unlock them. So here we are with Beast's kit here. It's not terrible, but I think it just doesn't go far enough for what I would kind of expect for a really true support character. Someone who, you know, would be worth bringing up in replace of one of them, in my opinion anyways. So here we are with his basic dignified strikes, and I actually kind of like this one. So we're going to be looking at the level 7 the level 7 stats. So attack primary target for 250% damage and adjacent target. So this is what do you call it, a bit of a cleave attack here. Plus flip one positive effect to a negative effect on each target. Now what's great about this is it's not just the primary target, it's all of them for flipping. So I love flipping. Flipping is really cool. I think from the 6 to 7, so that doesn't change either really. So you don't really need oranges in this if you're going to be investing in him. When this character performs a counterattack or assist, they flip 2. So this is kind of weird because the only time you're going to get counterattack, I believe, is from Psylocke, and then the assist usually is going to come from either Storm or, if you're lucky, with Cyclops' special. So this probably isn't likely to happen very frequently. I think it's largely going to be the flipping the 1 part. Now, Volatile Experiment, so this is his special move here. I hate that it only clears negative effects from self. You know, if this was clear 2 negative effects from everyone, then we're talking. You know, I know that might be too OP with 3 energy, but Squirrel Girl, I believe, her special is 3 energy and basically does clear negative effects from everyone. So I don't see why they couldn't have had that. And she gets a heal as well for everyone. This one heals, so comparing her to Squirrel Girl, you know, the only thing that this one does more of is that you're attacking all enemies for 300% damage. So Squirrel Girl does the highest damage target assists or whatever for that, whereas Beast only heals 2 injured allies for 20% of their max health. That's a 7, so 6 is actually it's still 20% actually, but it's clear 1 to 2, so you don't really need to bring this up to 7. But you know, I think that this just doesn't go far enough. It doesn't heal everyone, and now I know that there's going to be other parts of his kit, like particularly the passive, which is supposed to help heal some more. I just don't see why, you know, with a brand new character with supposed power creep, you know, I don't see why this couldn't have healed everyone, especially for X-Men, or maybe heal the 2 most injured allies, and then some sort of extra text saying, you know, heal all X-Men for 10% or something like that. You know, I don't see why that couldn't happen. Mutant Enhancement, this is a turn 2 ultimate, so basically applies all of these stats. If you're using X-Men, it's going to be all of these. Now, we're going to jump this back to 6, because the 7 part adds the regeneration to self and all mutant allies. This is interesting, but you do need oranges in that for this. So if we just have the level 6 ability, then it's offense up, defense, and speed up to all X-Men allies, and ability energy. I believe that's just 1. So if you're X-Men, you're getting all of this. So it's big buff bonanza, which in itself isn't bad, but I think it might be counterproductive in some ways. You know, Storm gives if you're using Storm, for example, she does give speed up on her passive, or she has a chance to. Defense up might already be on there, because if you're using Phoenix and use Phoenix's special, it's 2 turns of defense up with that. So I don't know if you actually need this part. And then the offense up, that's the only real thing that they would basically be getting. Now, what I don't like about this is that it's not 2 turns. If this was 2 turns, that would be a completely different story. The offense up would be there for 2 turns, and that would last, I mean, giving this speed, it would be quite significant. But it's only 1 turn, so I think it's going to drop off quite quickly. And the nice thing about the turn bar, and I watched OMG's video about this, because he actually unlocked Beast, and the offense up actually does sync very well with Cyclops. So Cyclops' ult will have offense up even if Phoenix didn't die. So he'll still have that offense up for his ultimate, which is great. You know, but is this enough to fill in a DPS slot? So depending on what you're using him for, you know, if you're using this in Alliance War, is this kit enough to sacrifice one of your potential damage characters, either Wolverine or Psylocke? You know, some people say that Wolverine actually doesn't do that much, but depending on how you've geared him up, I might disagree. And since he also gets 100% speed bar when Phoenix dies, and there's, you know, the special was buffed, and I think he's actually not bad of a character, and his speed got buffed as well, you know, through the patches and whatnot. So I think if you're looking from a late game perspective, I don't see Beast as being a strong member of that team when you probably already have them kind of filled out already. But to his passive, so let's go over it anyways. So I'm going to do the level 4 version. Level 5 really is just 10% resistance. It's not that crazy. On turn, apply regeneration to the most injured ally. If that ally's X-Men, heal that. So there's a fair bit of healing here. So that's 1 regeneration, and if they're X-Men, 15% extra health. So that it sort of offsets the special, but I just still feel that it's one character, you know, like he's only healing 1 or 2 characters at a time, you know. It's not like the full team. So I feel like there's really, in terms of raid, I don't think there's definitely enough sustainability just on him alone to keep an X-Men team running in the raids. I don't see that. And then this whole the stars and garters things about the stars and the medals and stuff, it's interesting. It's an interesting mechanic for sure. But I mean, again, if you're a late game player, this really is going to be of no consequence to you because you probably cleared everything anyways, like myself. Now, if you're not there, you know, maybe I could see a reason to use this. There's only a handful of places where you could probably, and this is largely targeting at not just Phoenix, but largely targeting at Phoenix because she always dies. You want Phoenix to die into Dark Phoenix, and then that causes problems for 3-starring nodes. But so if you're there, if you're one of these people who kind of needs to use Phoenix to clear it, then you could just throw Beast in, I guess. But then you need to make sure the Beast is leveled up and geared up enough to make sure that, you know, he doesn't get wrecked in whatever node that you're using him in. So, you know, there is that problem too. I don't have a whole lot of good things to say about him. I think his kit's okay, and maybe that's all right. You know, maybe we don't need every new character to be overpowered as hell. You know, maybe the power creep doesn't need to be exponentially. You know, every new character is that much stronger than the next. So, you know, maybe it is what it is. You know, and he isn't OP. He's just an average character. You know, do you need him though? That depends on what point you're in the game. Like I said earlier, I think that if you are in the early to mid game, I would consider him if you're needing an extra X-Men character and you haven't leveled up some of the other ones, and then maybe you can consider him. I think that probably the lineup you're going to want to use is probably going to be Beast, Storm, Colossus, and now this depends on if you have Phoenix, of course, because if you're an early to mid game player, you might not have access to Phoenix. So, I mean, you're basically left with, you know, Colossus, Beast, Storm, Wolverine, and Psylocke. I'm leaving out Cyclops only because he's not currently farmable. He's in orbs, but if you are sort of a newer player, you're not going to have access to Cyclops, and likely you're not going to have access to Phoenix. So there are 5 characters then now that you could use in the meantime. I know a lot of people aren't going to have Cyclops. Even mid-game players might not have Cyclops depending on when they're playing, because, you know, his event was, I think, in February. So if you weren't around then playing consistently, then you might not have him either. He is in the orbs, but the chances of you actually pulling him is quite slim. So, you know, there are things you can do with him, but I don't see a lot of late game players using him unless you just want to play around with him and see what he can do. And, you know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe some videos will come out and I will make a new video saying how wrong I was. But just for right now, I personally don't see him being super OP or really required in any means. So that's kind of what I think about Beast. So I know this video probably wasn't the most exciting because we didn't really get into any gameplay footage of Beast, but when he comes around for the Blitz next Thursday, I'll definitely unlock him there, and after that I'll give him a play around, probably get him to about tier 9 or 10 and 6664 at least, because that's kind of where I take all new characters regardless of what I think about them, so that I can at least play test them to some degree and play around with the animations too. As I said a few times now, I don't think you're going to be losing out on anything by not getting his offer or blitzing super hard to get him a high star rank. I think if you're a newer player and you can manage to unlock him, then I can see some validity there in using him while you build up the rest of your X-Men team. But otherwise, I think he's someone that's going to be somewhat sidelined until we can get him to farm ability. And maybe by that time we might see more X-Men characters as well that maybe might synergize better with him than who's out right now. Of course, I could be totally wrong, and he might be super OP and a must-have, but I just don't think that's where he's going to land. But anyways, thanks for watching my video today, and please smash that like button if you enjoyed it, and please comment down below if you think I'm missing anything with regards to Beast, or something I haven't considered about his usage. And as always, if you like what you see and haven't subscribed to my channel, then please do, and you'll see more Marvel Strike Force content like this. That's all for me for just now, though, so until next time, guys, stay safe. Boylon signing out.